Hello, all. Hope you're having a great day today. Today, we are talking about the five main types of events. This is part 2 of chapter 6. So, here we go. There are five main types of events. You have mega events, recurring events, traveling events, ancillary, and community events. When organizing these types of events, the system to be applied needs to be clarified first. In order to do this, the classification of sports events needs to be considered. The division is as follows. By types of sports, could be athletics, gymnastics, basketball, etc. Within the same type, there are subdivisions with athletics or throwing or jumping, etc. And by the types of competitions, whether that's a local event with sports clubs members as participants or friendly sports events. Those are unofficial meetings, and the aim is really to prepare for championships. Events by invitation only, that are conditions that are set by the inviting party. And events with exclusions. There are certain sports people that are not allowed to participate. Or regional championships at the county level or district level, etc. And then national championships and competitions to decide on the national champion title. And international events with sports club members from different countries as participants, or international competitions where the national teams of different countries participate. Also, by the nature of the event, individual sports. Participants enter, they participate, and are evaluated as individuals. These are some individual complex events, such as the European Men's Gymnastic Championship. Team sports, teams consisting of individuals, where team members have individual results. Joint team events, as in ball games in which team members have one result, and individual team, such as a pentathlon. Individual results are evaluated and awarded, but team result is calculated on the basis of the individual's placements. And by the characteristics of the participants, by gender, age group, such as Student Olympics age group 1, children, adolescent, junior, or adult, or by classification 1, 2, or 3, gold, silver, bronze medalist, or black or white belt, or by weight group. There are organizational systems like an elimination system where they're eliminated after the first or second defeat, a round match system or round robin where every participant meets every other participant, possibly only if there's a small number of participants, or a mixed type of events that begins with the elimination system and then it's followed by the round robin system, or vice versa, or one or two round systems as in with football, or a cup system where everybody can participate independently of the category. Mega sporting events are defined as those one-time sporting events of an international scale organized by a special authority and yielding extremely high levels of media coverage and impacts, such as economic, tourism, or infrastructure for the host community because of this event's significance or its size. The mega event is often accompanied by parallel activities such as festivals and or cultural events. Over the last 30 years, mega sporting events have become a popular vehicle for obtaining political, cultural, and economic benefits for the hosting region. Political benefits include increased international recognition of the host region and the propagation of certain political values held by the government and or the local population. Cultural benefits include the possible strengthening of local traditions and values, and economic benefits that include the possible strengthening of local traditions, increased expenditures, and employment within the region. Major or large scale sporting events can also be known as mega events if they have an international market and are organized by a special authority. Examples include the Olympic Games, the World Cup of Football, and the Super Bowl. Special events can be described as events having a regional, international, or national market and are coordinated by various levels of government, such as the Formula Racing Grand Prix or the Pan American Games. Hallmark events have a national or regional appeal as any national sport championship, and community events or regional or local, such as minor municipal baseball tournament. There has been, however, some disagreement over the various terms previously described. For example, Hall 1992 described Hallmark events as composed of mega events, special events, and community events. In turn, Getz in 2005 saw Hallmark events as being recurring events that provided the host community with a competitive advantage because of their significance, the tradition, attractiveness, image, or publicity, and argued that mega events would yield extremely high levels of tourism coverage, prestige, or economic impact for the host community, venue, or organization because of the event's significance and or size. The mega event is often accompanied by parallel activities such as festivals. Thus, Hallmark events and mega events may or may not be different. In addition, Jago and Shaw in 1998 reviewed the literature on the event definition and concluded that an event can be ordinary or special. A special event can be minor or festival or major, and a major event is either a Hallmark event or mega event, where the Hallmark event is tied to a specific place while the mega event is described as a one-time event on an international level. Together with high-profile sporting events such as the Olympic Games, the Pan American Games, and the World Cup of Football, smaller niche market events have begun to emerge, such as the Journalist World Games, the World Masters Games, the West Asian Games, the Winter World Transplant Games, the X Games, the World Air Games, and the list goes on. The concept of legacy associated with mega events. Legacy is both a practical and an academic concern. In practice, governments, the IOC, national sport governing bodies, and the public are interested in what sort of legacy hosting a mega event can leave and how this compares to the cost of doing so. Academics have been more skeptical of legacy and are currently debating both its meaning and the measurement of the term, thereby questioning the validity of much government evidence that mega events can and will provide lasting and positive legacies. Recurring events happen on a regular basis. They are the easiest types of event to execute because they occur consistently because staff is able to understand all of the details of executing the event. The concept of recurring events is simple. These are events that repeat themselves several times throughout the year and can also be a series of scheduled events available in various forms. Recurring events can focus on different topics, be part of a continuing story or conversation, or consist of the same programming each time. They can also be on different types of schedules depending on the needs of your business and prospective attendees. They could take place weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Setting up a recurring event may yield great returns for your business, staff, and attendees. A few of these benefits include improved efficiency. A recurring event can save you a lot of planning time since you don't have to come up with all new programming, content, and details each time you hold an event. Once you have all the details set, you can automate most of the planning moving forward. This can also make your event go smoothly as possible as you continuously identify and work out any kinks. All you need to do is coordinate a set of details and apply them to each occurring event. If you need to make changes along the way, it's easy enough to tweak one event and ensure that change is part of all future events. With a recurring event, you can expect a predictable and consistent experience, which can skyrocket attendance. When attendees know that your event is held on the 15th of every month, for example, they can plan ahead to ensure they can attend and will look forward to the experience since they've attended before. It can also be a great way to leverage referral marketing, as attendees can share their experience with their network and encourage them to attend the next event. You'll also be able to build on their excitement since they know they'll get to experience what their friend or colleague did previously. Recurring events are a practical solution if you want to have more attendees to your event. Why? Since you have multiple dates available, you provide guests with more flexibility. If they can't attend a particular date, they'll have a chance to attend the next one. And if the event is occurring the following week or month, it will stay top of mind for attendees, increasing the chance they'll actually attend. With recurring events, you can boost attendance and bring more success to your business and the clients you serve. Planning and logistics for an entire year can be done quickly and easily, leaving room for your staff to focus on making each event better than the last. Next thing you know, you'll have more people coming to your events because the process is easy, efficient, and convenient. And you'll do all of this without overburdening your staff with planning brand new events each time. Setting up recurring events is a practical solution that you can bring you plenty of success. Fortunately, there are many companies that can help you out with this as well. When you utilize recurring events, you can expect event growth, a highly engaged user base, and happier staff. In terms of sport tourism, recurring sport events may be one avenue for the development of destination loyalty, which can be operationalized as either behavioral intentions or as attitudinal loyalty via the form of place attachment. Hosting of recurring sporting events can contribute to a sustainable customer base of active event sport tourists or participants, resulting in repeat event participation in the host destination, such as the Valero Texas Open Golf Tournament, which is held at the TPC in San Antonio, Texas. The Oaks course, designed by PGA Tour legend and World Golf Hall of Fame member Greg Norman, with player consultant Sergio Garcia, reflects the tour's departure from the modern tournament-style course with expansive grass areas and spectator mounting to a more natural look and feel without sacrificing the fan experience, making it very tournament-friendly. The Oaks course will host the 100th anniversary of the PGA Tour's Valero Tex Open from March 28th to April 3rd in 2022. They've got it coming up in 2023 as well. So last year was the 4th year of a 10-year contract extension between the PGA Tour and Valero Energy Corporation. It deals with positions the tournament in a coveted slot on the tournament schedule, the week preceding the Masters tournament. So the Valero Texas Open was first played in 1922 and is the 3rd oldest PGA Tour tournament. It's only younger than the Western Tournament, which was in 1899, and Canadian Open in 1904. If you include the U.S. Open in 1895, managed by the USGA, and the PGA Championship in 1916, managed by the PGA of America, then the Valero Texas Open is the 5th oldest professional tournament in North America. The Valero Texas Open is the oldest professional golf tournament to have been held in the same city its entire existence. Every tournament has been played in San Antonio, Texas. TPC San Antonio is a private resort only accessible to club members and their guests, as well as guests of the JW Marriott San Antonio Hill Country Resort and Spa. In addition to 2 challenging golf courses, TPC San Antonio features a 23-acre practice facility with 2 putting and short game practice areas, as well as the best in golf instruction in San Antonio. Golf lessons are available for all skill levels, whether you're a beginner or seasoned golfer. TPC San Antonio has a program that can be custom fit to their needs. Traveling events occur on a regular basis, but are in a different location each year. The fact that the location varies year to year presents a challenge. So the individual or group of individuals who are charged with executing the event are rarely the same. While tourism and sports are interrelated and complementary, sports as a professional, amateur, or leisure activity involves a considerable amount of traveling to play and compete in different destinations and countries. Major sporting events such as the Olympic Games, football, and rugby championships have become powerful tourism attractions in themselves and make a very positive contribution to the tourism image of the host destination. Sports tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors of tourism. More and more tourists are interested in sporting activities during their trips, whether sports are the main objective of travel or not. Sport events of various kinds and sizes attract tourists as participants or spectators, and destinations try to add local flavor to them to distinguish themselves and provide authentic local experiences. Mega sport events such as the Olympics and World Cups can be a catalyst for tourist development if successfully leveraged in terms of destination branding infrastructure development, and other economic and social benefits. Sport and tourism are two driving forces for the promotion and sustainable economic development of tourism destinations. Traveling, nothing melts away cultural differences like joining a sea of screaming fans at a high-octane event. Often a source of national pride, sports games merge culture, entertainment, food, and history into an experience that's fun for the whole family. From visiting key sports museums such as NASCAR Hall of Fame to kicking off the season in a college football town, sports travel has never been as easier or more enjoyable. There are multiple types of ancillary events. How these spectators choose and consume events is important to sport and event managers, including the efficacy and importance of ancillary events that surround many sport events. Sport fans enjoy ancillary events and opportunities to be social, but there are differences in the fan experience across the generations. The use of ancillary events can make the game into an event, a celebration, and a party. Millennials desire ancillary events beyond the sport itself. Sport managers can encourage sociability through ancillary events. And ancillary events enhance the core sport product and increase motivation for sport attendance, such as the interactive fan zone or fan midway, the team walk, pre-game ceremonies, and college game day. Or the Honda Ridgeline Bristol tailgate party, fan midway, or college game day. Football ritualistic events were more popular when compared to the typical NASCAR ritualistic events surrounding a race. Millennials participate in ancillary events more than any other generation. Marketers need to find ancillary events that will be more appealing to multiple generations. And millennials wanted to attend the ancillary events. So sport marketers must make ancillary events part of the experience in order to meet the high expectations of millennials if you're marketing to that generation. Some view in-game entertainments or ancillary events as part of the core product. Sport events are a positive, rewarding way to generate local business, stimulate tax dollars, and shine a regional or national spotlight on a host destination. As most communities are facing a harsher economic climate than they did even a year ago, hosting a sporting event can boost the local economy and morale. What better than sports to remedy today's evils or ills? Sports events are visible reminders that hard work pays off and that winning is never easy but always rewarding. From a Convention and Visitors Bureau or CVB perspective, it is often difficult to quantify the success of a sporting event. Certainly, there are some measurable metrics of success, such as hotel room nights booked, gates revenue, attendance figures, media attention, and positive feedback. And though these provide a sense of impact of an event on the community, it is not a complete portrait. Sport events have a ripple effect on a community, directly and indirectly, impacting scores of businesses and service providers. Sporting events make an indelible impact on our community. Financially, sport events are a strong and reliable revenue generator. Hotel rooms filled with athletes, fans, and media bring valuable hotel tax revenue into communities. Visitors also pour into local restaurants, many of which can be small mom-and-pop establishments scrambling to stay afloat in tough economic times. But successful sporting events have a far-reach impact on a variety of local businesses, including laundry services, rental car companies, transportation companies, florists, local retailers, printers, and audiovisual companies. Indirectly, sport events impact industries like construction, which is needed to build new hotels and facilities, or trucking used to transport goods to hotels and athletic facilities. Some sports even include a charitable giving component. Over the course of its 11 years, Rhode Island's CBS Charity Golf Tournament has raised more than $12 million for nonprofits in New England that serve children and family. Last year alone, the foundation raised more than $1.8 million in donations. Other sport event organizers may provide in-kind gifts such as tickets and merchandise to children's charities. Another benefit of hosting a sports event is that it often goes beyond convention centers and arenas, utilizing non-traditional facilities and an area's natural resource. So depending upon the area, how many colleges and universities that allow sport event planners to make use of a variety of athletic fields and facilities. And oftentimes it could be a tourist destination offering ample opportunity for water-based sporting events and things along that line. With triathlons that take place across the state, beginning on state beaches and racing across the state's countryside and ending among throngs of supporters in downtown, whatever state you're in. And it can be a great possibility for repeat business and creating that tourism as well. Goodwill or positive buzz is certainly much harder to quantify than hard numbers. So the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament and how you quantify the impact of national commentators saying live from San Antonio, Texas, dozens of times, or the beauty shots of the city that precede the national television conference or coverage. In time you can host a national event, it creates an impression that this place must have something special going on. But it's not just national events that can make an impact. Oftentimes it's the smaller sport events that can leave a bigger mark on a community. It's the stuff nobody reads about, the youth hockey tournaments, youth soccer, youth baseball, that may not be on the newspaper pages, but they're very important to the city, restaurant, hotels, and store owners. Generally, the youth sports bring mom and dad and maybe brother and sister. They are literally and figuratively a win-win for a destination. Momentum is a powerful phenomenon in sports. Sport event organizers and tourism officials both know the power of positive and momentum. Successful events, media placements, and the aforementioned buzz tend to build on one another. Events turn customers into repeat customers, and positive experiences breed additional positive experiences. Destinations look to capitalize on successful events and see the increased variety of events as an added bonus. It is an opportunity to promote the area to a cross-cultural, generational, and geographical diverse audience. It is also a promotional opportunity that is rarely available, especially for smaller destinations. Destinations have the opportunity to brand themselves in regard to the sporting event and can consider how many people would know a particular place depending upon what kind of event you are working on. There's also many great branding opportunities with youth sports. And so the development of events to generate repeat business and establish a tradition and identity for consumers, the community, and events themselves. And your success can come in various shapes and sizes, but all beneficial to the host community. The John W. Kennedy Memorial Hockey Tournament attracts youth hockey teams from across the country to fill hundreds of local hotel rooms during typically slow winter months. The Ocean State Classic Soccer Tournament brings soccer teams, fans, friends, and family from 18 towns throughout Rhode Island to participate. So sport events are different from meetings and conventions in that they are not repeat business customers, but hopefully part of a tradition of successful recurring events. Often, regardless of the level of type of competition, local media tends to embrace sporting events. And the sports are winners with the local media. They are underdogs. Odds are overcome. There is the joy of victory and the agony of defeat, to borrow the phrase. Local media, especially now where cost-cutting measures are routine, also latch onto the strong visuals and the compelling storylines and black and white results to easily turn out a positive local story. This too has a positive effect community-wide, with local athletes feeling like champions and spectators and sponsors seeing placements and lending added importance to the event. Convention and visitor bureaus work hard to make the destination welcome to sporting events. Hosting special events inside sports venues takes imagination and the proper tools. Drastic measures were taken to ensure the arena could handle more than the home schedule of a university basketball program. There are sports venues of all sizes, indoors and out, and can be converted to host any number of non-traditional athletic events. Not to mention testimonial dinners, trade shows, tractor pulls. All it takes is a little imagination and the proper tools. Temporary seating. Most special events will require seating beyond what the venue offers its sports spectators. In fact, a venue's existing seating may well be retracted to create sufficient event space. For concerts or other types of large-scale assemblies, portable seating will need to be placing hundreds of guests in rows on top of the venue's playing surface. Stackable chairs transported in large groups via dolly or cart allow for efficient setup and removal. Most feature a ganging device which allows chairs positioned with the same row to be connected, keeping the rows straight in relation to each other for a clean appearance while satisfying fire codes that demand unobstructed egress from the facility. Traffic in and out of each row can be further aided by specifying flip-up seats on each chair. Unlike typical convention center gang seating, temporary assembly chairs are built to endure stacking and unstacking required frequent athletic venue conversions. They often feature a sled base, replacing 4 small points of contact on the floor with 2 larger ones. Floor contact may be further enhanced by copolymer or steel glides, which help the chair frame compensate for substrate irregularities. So when you're in charge of a sport facility, there are times when you have to host non-sporting events in your facility. And so being able to transition from one type of event to another. Your events could vary from a bridal show, a concert, the circus, a rodeo, or a business meeting. Organizing a sporting event requires a lot of participation and logistical planning and key understanding of the sport itself. From sourcing a venue and enlisting a suitable number of volunteers to arrange all weather preparations and day of logistics, a lot goes into planning together a successful event. When you begin the planning process, you need to understand your sporting event's core objective, and then you can break down the process into easy managed steps. As you dive in, it is essential to answer the following questions. What will your event be? Whether it is a spectator sporting event, a marathon, or sports tournament, the format of the event will help you define the logistical requirements involved in making it successful. Who will attend the event? Who is your target audience for your event? Is it spectators, participants, or both? When and where will the event take place? What type of a venue are you looking at? And are there any weather conditions you need to consider during your event planning process? The more detailed your answer to these questions, the better you will plan your event. Other key steps are determining expected attendance and staff. No event can function without the correct amount of staff and volunteers. One of the main issues with larger sporting events is that they take place over multiple sites or routes, and this can be problematic, as you'll need to enlist a large number of staff and volunteers to organize and manage each area, as in a marathon. Keep in mind that as well as the event participants themselves, supporters will turn out in abundance, so even smaller scale events can quickly become difficult to manage. This is where research will play a part. Spend time investigating past events to help gauge the turnout you can expect and ensure you have a large enough team to manage your event effectively. Once you have a clear understanding of how many staff and volunteers you need, you will want to begin a recruitment process. Start by promoting your web-based volunteer registration page sign-up form on your website and social channels to attract volunteers to your event. Your event page not only provides a central place for volunteers to register, but also allows anyone interested to post in the discussion section or message you directly. People will have questions and you will be able to easily and publicly answer them. Secure your venue. Until you have a site or venue locked down, you'll be unable to progress with much of the planning. So make sure this is high on your list when it comes to getting organized. There will be a number of practicalities to take into consideration. Depending on the sport you're hosting, the number of venues in your area may be limited. For example, there may be 1 or 2 gymnastics clubs with available space. In contrast, if you're hosting a soccer tournament, there may be a large number of fields to choose from. Transportation is often one of the most tricky things to organize. So with the main event secured, you'll need to think about how the people will get to and from your event, as well as around the site on the day in question. For example, do you need to contact the local authorities for permission to close off an area of the city? This is the sort of thing you'll need to think of with plenty of time to spare if you're to get the sign off you need ahead of your event. There is nothing more frustrating to customers than a complicated purchasing process. This is why it is essential to invest in a convenient and simple ticketing tool to streamline the step. Customers should be able to purchase tickets directly from your website, and you might consider making your event ticket available from your social media channels as well. As for your athlete registration, you'll need to ensure that the sign-up process is simple as well. An online registration from your website is a great option. Then make sure to communicate with participants on a routine basis to ensure they are kept in the loop leading up to the big day. With medals, finishing times, and awards up for grabs, sporting events often bring out some of the world's most competitive athletes. Whether they're seasoned athletes or simply committed to raising funds for a chosen charity, it's not unlikely that participants will be pushing their bodies to their limits. Ensure the proper medical staff is on site and ready to treat minor injuries for players or fans. From first aid volunteers to regular hydration stops, make sure you have everything in place to help participants if and when the need arises. When possible, utilize event volunteers and staff to full effect by having them on hand to assist. Investing in a volunteer management software will allow you to effectively manage your team, will undoubtedly remove some of the stress and ensure you can liaise on one platform. Ultimately, this will help to ensure you're able to effectively facilitate the event at all times, especially in the case of an emergency. Whether you're hosting an event, the weather is likely to be a consideration, especially if your event is held outside. From the rainy streets of Manchester in the UK to unbearable heat in warmer climates, as in Corpus Christi, Texas, the weather is anything but predictable, and this factor can cause challenges when it comes to planning your event. When possible, it pays to have a backup plan. Check the weather forecast as often as you can and prepare for all possible outcomes. While a downpour is unlikely to see a marathon event rained off, it will affect transportation and spectators, so even if the rain itself goes ahead, you'll need to consider those attending. Similarly, a particularly hot day can lead to all sorts of problems for athletes, attendees, and staff alike. You'll need to make sure there are plenty of spaces to grab some shade and stock up on water in abundance to keep participants sufficiently hydrated. In a world where social media is a staple of our everyday lives, it's fair to say that your event could benefit from drumming up some interest online. From a dedicated Twitter page to pushing out a Facebook event, make sure people know when and where your event will be taking place. Start by sending out teasers, and as the event gets closer, unleash more specific details. You can utilize social media to encourage followers to get involved. Launch a targeted hashtag and encourage followers to share their sporting stories. And when the day rolls around, consider Snapchat filters and Facebook Live videos to make the most of user-generated content. The more you can spread the word around during and after the event, the greater a success it's likely to be. Create a Facebook Live event page. When and where will it be taking place? What is your event all about, and why are you having it? Explore other social media platforms and channels. And regardless of the channel you choose, consider starting a unique hashtag, holding contests and challenges, and encouraging user interaction to spread the word. Focus on networking and outreach. Cross-promote pages of vendors and sponsors you work with by linking to their page and encouraging them to interact with and share your posts as well. You can also consider paid advertisements and sporting event roles, volunteer roles that you need. If you're planning a sport tournament, you need to consider your volunteers and how they're helpful with all the way from setup to registration and check-in and information station, concessions, scorekeepers and referees, floaters and runners, parking attendants, breakdown, and trash. So with all of that in mind, there's a lot of stuff to cover with hosting an event. With so many tasks running through your mind, a checklist gives you a tangible way to ensure nothing is forgotten. This is especially helpful during the final days before your event and when unexpected problems come up. Highly recommend printing out an event day toolbox checklist and physically check off each item. It's easy to skim past an item and miss it on your computer screen. Nice little tick is a fail-safe way to ensure you have everything you need on the event day. The basic details on this checklist are meant to be done as soon as possible, ideally 4 to 6 months in advance. However, if your starting plan is only 1 or 2 months away, it's possible to execute a successful event. Checklist is broken down into the timeline. Your first steps begin with an event marketing strategy. 3 to 6 months before the event, consider the things that you need. 1 to 3 months before the event, and then the month leading up to the event, as well as 1 to 2 weeks, the week leading up to the big day, and items for your every event day toolbox, and then the big day itself, and post-event action items. So the first steps in your checklist, as soon as you begin planning, begin deciding on your event's objective and go from there. Give details, your date, time, and location. So decide what your event goals are, determine the budget, and brainstorm an event theme. You research speakers and entertainment and reach out to those who fit your goals. Save time and stress and invest in an event planning software if you can. Find event venues, research pricing, and visit potential locations. Check for any contractual requirements. Do they have food and beverage minimum? Ensure venue has necessary licensing for alcohol if needed. And be aware of accommodations for anyone with disabilities. Look into parking and public transportation options and set your sponsor levels and packages. Compile a list of potential sponsors, solidify and send your sponsor proposal. Lock in your event date and decide if you will hire an event management company to assist you. Some other things to consider are that within the 3 to 6 month window is establishing who on your team is responsible for what. Outline your marketing and publicity schedule. Confirm your speakers and entertainment. Source speaker headshots and bios for your website, and lock in your sponsors. Send those sponsor contracts and keep a detailed file of signed contracts and the benefits you are providing them. Meet with any event partners or co-hosts. And for a large event, you want to think about your sponsor logos, your speaker headshots and biographies and live polls, things along that line. And plan your venue layout, your presentations, your catering, your speaker rooms, your sponsor booths, and your registration. Along with that, think about your event sponsors' fulfillment obligations and speaker information. Create your event website and registration. And create your event landing page. So information about your event and your event press release, and share that on your social media accounts. So this is just an example of an event planning timeline. This is something we will be working on with our events as well. Talking about how far out, what the task is, the task due date, who is responsible, and the date they completed it. Those are all very important. And this is just another look at a timeline, the day of the event. And so you can see by the hour what's going on and who's responsible and any notes they might have. These are my references. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to talking with you again. You guys have a great day.